Here's a great trick that you can use over any dominant chord. Let me show you real quick. Now for this example, we're playing over A7. That's the 5th chord in the key of D. So I'm going to start by playing the root note on the 7th fret of the D string. From here, I'm going to go an octave higher, 10th fret of the B string, whole step down to the 8th fret, I got the flat 7 of A, and then 9th fret of the G string, I got the 5th. So these are my starting notes: root, octave, flat 7, 5th. Now from here, I'm going to borrow some minor triads from the key of D major. Let's harmonize the scale first to see what chords we have. I'm going to start with this D major, second inversion, strings 1, 2, and 3 as my 1 chord, the 2 chord E minor, the 3 chord F sharp minor, the 4 chord G major, the 5 chord that we're playing over A major, the 6th chord is going to be B minor, and the 7th chord is going to be C sharp diminished, and we're back on D major. Now for this example, I'm borrowing the 3 chord that is F sharp minor. If I play it over A, I have the 6 or 13, I have the root and the major 3rd. And if I play E minor, that is the 2 chord over A, I have an A7 sus2. Here I have the root, the 5th, the flat 7, and the sus2 or 9. Now so far I have this. Now if this guitar part sounds familiar to you, it's actually inspired on a John Scofield tune called Chank. If you listen to the B section of that tune, he's actually applying this concept of playing the 2 and the 3 chord minor over a dominant chord. What I did was just take that B section a whole step up and play some extra notes. You probably have seen me apply this concept more than once if you've been following my videos. Couple of reasons why I like to do this. First of all, it's easy to play minor triads, right? I memorized them all over the fretboard a long time ago. Once I discovered that if you change the bass note of the minor triad to another note of the scale, you get a different sound. For example, if I play an E minor triad here, root position, but I put my bass on A, I have an A7 sus2. I can be playing an E minor triad that again is easy to play, but the bass player goes to the A note and I have a different chord now. So two things that instantly expanded my dominant 7th chord vocabulary. First and foremost, learn your A7 chords all over the fretboard, right? In this case, on the top 4 strings, I have A7 here, I have A7 here, A7 here, A7 here. I can play also A9, A7 sus4, and so on. And the second one is to superimpose the 2 and the 3 chord minor over the 5 chord. In this case, A7 is the 5 chord in the key of D, and in the key of D, E minor is the 2 chord, and F sharp minor is the 3 chord. Now let's talk about scales for a minute. What can you play over a dominant chord? Let's start with the simple ones. Of course, the Mixolydian mode that is no more than the major scale, starting from the 5th note. You can also use the major pentatonic and the minor pentatonic. Now, the minor pentatonic has a flat 3 there, right? You don't want to land in that note, you want to pass over that note. This chord has enough tension to actually let you use that flat 3, because if you think about the intervals of a dominant chord, there is a tritone in between the flat 7 and the major 3, right? There is a lot of tension here, so actually the minor 3rd makes it sound really bluesy. So what I'm doing here is playing just a really simple minor pentatonic line. It goes like this. Now for the second repetition, I'm starting exactly the same. But here I'm going to borrow another triad from the D major scale. In this case, the 4 chord, G major. Now, if I play G major over A, I have an A9 sus4 here. I have the root, I have the 11 or the 4, I have the flat 7, and I have the 9. Really common chord on funk, right? You see it more like this, right? So here I have the G major triad, and here I have the A on my bass. So the inversion of that is G major, strings 1, 2, and 3, and I put the A on the bass. All I'm doing is just sliding it a whole step up to actually A major, that is the 5 chord, but I'm taking the bass note to B. That B is the 6 chord, right? So I'm kind of leaving the sound of A7 for a second because I'm changing my bass note to B, but I'm returning back to an A7 chord. So that part sounds like this. Now if I put all that together, at the end I have this.